This hour is brought to you by Jeremy Temple Law Office of Bloomington. Personal injury, criminal, business, whatever you need, Jeremy Temple Law Office will get you taken care of.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Well, come along and welcome aboard Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary. Thanks a lot for joining us. We appreciate you each and every day, but especially here on this special Happy St. Patrick's Day on this Tuesday. Appreciate everybody's joining us. Even have Doug down under in Australia, but I think he's listening to yesterday's show as he's texting in. It's so funny. Doug's texting in, but he's listening to yesterday's show in Australia right now. So it's great times, though. Great fun. Todd Leary's with me as always, of course. Jake's at the wheel. Todd, another day of nothing going on, but we're plenty of stuff to talk about. We got Greg Graham on the show today. We'll look forward to talking to him, but there's things that we can talk about as far as recruiting and eligibility and what the NCAA is going to do. And I still think that they should put out a bracket. I sent that text to Mike DeCourcy last night, and he said, "Yeah, that would be fun." I think they should have. I think Fox should have a selection show.
Yeah, I totally. I mean, I'm surprised that somebody is not, trying to make that happen or do something like that. There's just so many, there's so many logistical issues trying to get, we've seen enough of Mike DeCourcy and Joe Lunardi where they're from remote locations. So, I mean, I think they could figure out a way to make it come together. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's real high on anybody's priority list right now.
I told Mike, I was halfway joking, but not really. In a text, I said, man, I think it would be a gigantic hit if they did that, if they did a show like that. Anything
in the sports world right now would be pretty much a gigantic hit, to be honest with you. I mean, anything that, especially when you're dealing with, something that big and it's still fresh on everybody's mind. I mean, heck, the tournament would just be starting today. I mean, today would be the first round of those play-in games in Dayton. And so, I mean, it's still, it seems like this has been going on for a while, and it's literally not even been a week yet since, they canceled everything. But, right now would be a great time, I think, to do it. And if they wait too long, it'll be too much of an afterthought, I think.
Well, if they wait too long, I'll tell you exactly who's going to do it. It may not be as splashy as Fox or CBS, but Indiana Sports Beat may be doing it too. We'll just do our own.
It won't be as flashy. That's for
we
sure.
We won't have Vanna White. We'll have Jake turning the little things instead. Jake, who's in the Southeast Regional or the
You just lost me. You just lost me on the visual on that.
Yeah, I know. It's that's a poor man's deal, though. That's Tom Brady leaving the New England Patriots. It looks like, but that's mainly because nobody's really looking for a 43-year-old quarterback. I saw a great line. Man, I wish I could.
How many teams are in the NFL? 30?
32, maybe.
32. How many, Jake? You know? Okay, how many teams, so take out the New England Patriots. Of the other 31 teams, how many teams would or would not take Tom Brady?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But, I mean, so the ones that have, like, Drew Brees, they obviously are not going to.
Nope.
And, you could probably name 5 other teams.
Here's a great example of who the Colts won't. And the Colts, they don't have a Drew Brees, but they don't want a Band-Aid. They want a move to the future. And Tom Brady is not a move to anyone's future. That is a move to selling some tickets for a season, I think.
But wouldn't that be the same thing as Phillip Rivers?
Not far. I don't see a lot of difference between them, I'll be honest with you. Yeah.
I mean, just because Phillip Rivers is several years younger, I mean, we also can't base the age factor on Tom Brady because he's one of the very few people that have, right. He's one of the few people that have played to that age. So, I mean, look at it from the standpoint: how many years does Phillip Rivers have left? 3? at most. Maybe,
yeah. I
that.
guess it's kind of like what the Denver Broncos did when they brought in Peyton Manning. They knew he's limited. He's got 2-3 years left, but they went for the gusto and they ended up winning a Super Bowl. Now, of course, most of that was won on the backs of their defense, but they still rolled the dice, brought in a high dollar quarterback. It worked for them, but they had an incredible defense. I don't know that works for the Colts. We'll see, but we'll have to get Matt Taylor back on here again soon. We'll talk about that. Be fun stuff to talk about. Maybe get on there this week. But yeah, Ethan Happ, the former Wisconsin Badgers star, he was over in Italy playing basketball. He's home in Milan, of course, and it's actually Milan, Illinois, staying with his parents and self-quarantine. But so guys coming home, the American athletes trying to get home. I mean, can you imagine being stuck in a freaking foreign country during all this crap?
No, I played there for a couple of years, and I cannot imagine. We're talking 25 years ago. I mean, I'm sure things are better and different over there now, but just when you've got something like this going on, the difficulty of trying to get out of there is, that would be tough. It'd be difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a tough road to hoe. And then now back here, if you're an athlete, you've got to. It doesn't matter if you're a baseball player, what you are. You got to stay in tune. You got to stay in shape. I wonder if are gyms being let open? I guess that for Indiana players, they have the cards they can get in and out of, so that's not a big deal. But back in the day, you had open gyms everywhere. That's probably not going to be the case for the next several months.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And I think that I don't know how long it'll last. I don't know if several months is right or wrong. Maybe longer than that. It may be 1 month. It's just we don't have anything to base it off of. I know, the places my son plays high school basketball. And so obviously the high schools are closed. They're not allowing them to come in and practice together. And so, the next thought was, okay, where do we get him into a gym to shoot? And the Monon Center in Carmel was, it was staying open as of Sunday night when they closed at 7:00. It was going to be open all week. Well, then by Monday morning, it's time for it to open. They had changed all of that, and now it's closed. So there is no place to go. You talk about the high school tournament being, quote, postponed, and you just don't know. I mean, these kids they're not allowed to practice, and they're not practicing, and they don't really. I know there's going to be gyms where they're able to sneak into, but from an overall standpoint, there's just nowhere. There's nowhere really to go practice right now.
Yeah, that kind of stinks. I mean, I wouldn't go out and shoot some myself.
And look, like I know people are going to take this. If you look at the overall, amount of things going on, I'm not whining and crying like that's that big of an issue. We're a sports show, and I'm just stating sports facts that are things that are going on. I'm not whining like, oh my gosh, this is such a tragedy. I'm stating the facts of there's really nowhere for a high school athlete right now to try to continue on and stay in shape. There really isn't a lot for him to do other than the old fashioned workout on your own.
The Kentucky Derby will be not held in May for the first time in 75 years. As it's not been canceled, it's been postponed, I think, till September. Unique experience.
I have wondered about this for a long, long time, and this is a person who's never been to the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, you owe it to yourself.
But I bet I've watched, 75 to 90% of them in the last 40 years. I bet I've watched them on TV. And just in my thought process, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just remembering the bad ones, but it seems like the weather always sucks at that thing. Like it's always pouring down rain, or some years it's cold.
It's actually not. It's usually pretty good. Every now and then you may get, but it seems like no matter, even on the days where it had rained, it always seemed to clear up when the Derby rolled in. It's just a weird deal. But
tell that to the ladies wearing white dresses and crazy hats at the thing who stood out in the rain all day long. The actual race itself is one thing. You're from down that area. The festivities it's like the Indy 500. Like I know the actual race is cool, but the build up and leading up to it is what the local people love. And I don't think it'll be a bad thing for that thing to be in September.
No, it could still be fun. It'll still be fun. It's just a little different.
It's different. Hey, we're all going to have to accept
Just
be
get
able
ready to
to
say the
accept
exact
change.
thing. Exactly. Just get ready to say the exact same thing. It is what it is, man. And I think that the sooner people get to that mindset, it'll be a lot happier because it's depressing. It's depressing for me. It's depressing when there's no sports to watch. I mean, it's because we're morons, but that's not to be argued. But I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, here's the thing. Like we could be branching out into into enjoying other things in life, except for whatever those things might be are canceled now too. So it's not like we have a choice of different things to go partake in right now. I mean, the sports world is canceled. Pretty much most of the entertainment world is canceled.
Well, and I had a great interview with Chronic that I had to record because of timing today, but it screwed up. I'm still going to try to get that out, but it didn't do well. But one of the things we talked about was people hopefully still getting out and order out from some restaurants. Let's try to keep some cycles going because you can't go out and eat in at these places now. So especially in your local places, or like I said, order some mini corn dogs from Yogi's, order some wings from Buffalo's. Go to the golf club at Eagle Point and eat there. They've got spicy ketchup like nobody else from Whataburger. Hey, there you go.
You can't eat there though, right?
No, you have to get it to go.
Yeah,
every place you got to get it to go. I mean, now they do have an Outback thing that as it gets warm up, they could probably open up and maybe people could sit there, I guess. I don't know. It's a golf course. Plus, the golf course is still rolling. So
yeah, but I mean, this restaurant and bar band is only a couple weeks long, right?
Yeah, it's just for the end of the month.
Yeah. So I mean, by the time we'll be through all this,
yeah.
Before we know it.
As soon as the warm weather gets here as well, I mean, it's hopefully, and it's going to get nice here. Each day is going to get better and better. Of course, it's going to drop back down on Saturday, but I mean, we're hitting the 70s on Thursday, bro. You're going to be out playing some golf.
I was out playing golf yesterday, and it was freaking 40-something. So
I thought you didn't go out under 50s. Uncle Andy won't go out under 55.
I have a couple of loopholes within that agreement with myself, and one of those is social distancing, and my version of social distancing allows myself to go out in the 40-degree weather and hit golf balls if there's nothing else to do.
Well, I asked about playing on the simulator as well from Uncle Andy, and he is social distancing himself, including from you and I.
Well, he can stay in his house and just open up the garage.
I know. I was like, going, dude, are you serious? He is social distancing right now. So coming up on the program today, man, Greg Graham's going to join us, former teammate of Todd Leary's, as a matter of fact.
Former 4-year roommate of Todd Leary.
That's right. Former chauffeur of Greg Graham.
No doubt about that.
I remember him talking about that, that you were the only dude that had a car.
Hey. But so we'll set this up going into the show. And then I'll tell you the truth after it's over. So you go through and ask him about his time at IU and ask him all that. And then ask him what he majored in and ask him how he chose that major.
Okay.
And then after he gives you his answer, I'll go ahead and tell you the truth.
We got all that coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Coyle and Larry back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Ryan Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now when weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hi, this is AJ Moye, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Leary with you here on this St. Patrick's Day Tuesday. Joined now by one of the greats, former Hoosier, Greg Graham. Greg, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I cannot complain. How are things up in the Northeast?
Just about as good as they are across the country. I'm afraid to say.
Yeah, it's craziness out there. Of course, now you guys have some big news up there for you all. Tom Brady is leaving the New England area, apparently, so that must be shaking people up there a little bit.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have any fans down here either, man, so don't worry. Also on with us, your former teammate Todd Leary is with us, of course, as well. Todd, your man Greg Graham is on. He
what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing. I was just making fun of you just a little while ago. Nothing unusual.
I figured you would be. I mean, I wouldn't put it past you.
Yeah, no doubt.
He was explaining to me how you had to drive him around all through college.
I was explaining
Absolutely.
to him,
he was my roommate that had a car, so why wouldn't he drive me around?
I became real popular, and I thought it was my glowing personality, and pretty soon I realized it was because I had a $1,000 Mother Bears gift card and a car.
And you know that works well when you got a house full of student athletes that need that piece, right?
It sure does. Yep, no doubt.
Greg Graham, what's new with you up in New England? I know that you've been coaching. You have been coaching, you're teaching, or what's new in the life of Greg Graham?
Well, we ended a very good season on a negative note with the virus and everything going around. This is by far my best team I've had. We were championship contenders. We were division runner-ups and a high seed in the state open tournament, and that all abruptly came to an end the day that we were scheduled to play the opening round of our playoff game. So it was a little disappointing for my seniors, which I had 8 of them. They came in with me, built this program to a championship level. I'm just disappointed for them, but totally understand the situation that has transpired throughout the country.
Yeah, of course, obviously that is going on everywhere. The Indiana high school basketball tournament canceled as well. Everyone looking forward to that. As a coach, a teacher, a mentor, what do you tell these kids, these seniors, how because they have to deal with this? That's a tough loss for them.
They do. I mean, I try to, let them know that there's two sides of looking at this. One, that they know that they're a good team and they had every right to be upset because they wanted to complete the season. But on the other hand, you have to look out for the health risks that are involved with everyone coming to games and with this virus and thing going around. You just don't know. So you'd rather be safe than sorry. I do feel for them, but there's a bigger picture than this.
Absolutely. Of course, Indiana, the Hoosiers, were looking to get back in the NCAA tournament, as were a lot of other teams, but they had been out for a couple of years, but had a good enough run there at the end that we're all pretty positive they were in for sure. Was looking forward to the tournament, just not even getting to watch that play. That just, we've talked about it, and we can't stop talking about it, but it's a piece of our American fabric in our life, and not having that is just, it's hard for people to adjust to.
It really is. It is very disruptive, which is what happens when you have a pandemic on your hands. And, life as we know it has changed. For those avid sports fans that wake up in the morning, ready to turn on Sports Center and see what happened from the night before, it's a little disappointing right now. I couldn't imagine life without sports, and we're definitely getting a dose of it right now.
So we got to find something fun to talk about. Tell me about your days of driving Todd around.
We were still in college. All we'd be doing right now is cleaning the apartment.
Cleaning up after Nova, for sure, would be what we'd be doing.
Absolutely. What a slob.
Can you imagine being in college now and dealing with this? You guys wouldn't get anything done, would you?
Not really. We had a great run as roommates. We had a lot of fun, and we tend to joke with each other about those days on campus and living with each other, and obviously being connected as far as student athletes. But me and Todd being from the Indianapolis area and being roommates for all 4 years that I was there. So it's great to look back up on and to go through some of those stories and hear some of the things that have transpired over the years.
Hey, Greg, help me answer this question. And I'm not putting you on the spot. And I truly wanted to know myself. So last time I saw you in person, you were coaching at Warren Central and doing an incredible, fantastic job. And then all of a sudden, up and out of nowhere, you're moved out of the state, which we don't see happen very often. And people ask me all the time, why'd Greg Graham leave? They were doing so well. What happened? Answer the question for me, so now I can tell people the real answer.
Well, the real answer is my fiance at the time got a promotion relocation. She works for the national office of the VA, so she's a government employee. And,
I told you it was over a woman.
Absolutely. Isn't that always the case?
I told you it was over a woman.
Well, it's not so much the woman as it is my son.
Kidding.
So, I had to be where he is. So, it was a good move for us to lay down some roots here in Rhode Island and just give me a new perspective on life and how different other states operate as far as basketball is concerned.
Any thoughts? Indiana high school basketball, obviously in your blood. You played it, you coached it. Great class coming up next year. My gosh, the talent down here. And I know that everything's dependent upon family and all that. But any thoughts of trying to get back to Indiana to coach here?
Would love to. But those kind of situations have to arise. I'm closely monitoring it, but right now I have no intentions on moving back unless there's something that will definitely draw me back. It takes a lot for me to leave my son. An act of God, actually, but I always keep those doors open. You never know.
Hey, Greg. I know you were high school teammates with Ron Bayless, and I know he went on and played at Iowa State. And I just saw some information on social media about his son scoring 41 points in the state championship in Iowa. Do you keep in contact with Ron? Because I know I follow him a lot. Do you?
I was like, absolutely. We talked briefly right before the season, in the middle of the season, and going into the playoffs, I was just complimenting him on Braxton's play. I know at the time that we talked, he really wanted Braxton to have a pretty enough good season to maybe eventually, obviously, get a scholarship. And he's been doing fantastic this year, leading his team to that state championship. And couldn't happen to a better kid and to better parents.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's funny because I tell the story just because we have no real sports to talk about right now. So I tell stories about high school and things like that. And Ron Bayless, to me, was one of the quietest, really good players that very, very few people talk about that didn't actually play against him or coach against him or stuff like that. I mean, obviously we know how good you were. But when we prepared for Warren Central, I mean, I hated it because Ron Bayless always guarded me. And I'm not the fastest guy in the world, and Ron just always made things so difficult for me, and I've always respected him out of that because he's that quiet. He always seemed to be that quiet guy that just did the dirty work, and really didn't get a whole lot of accolades for it. And I've always respected him and followed him for that. So I'm really, really excited. I know how it is rooting for your kids now, and I'm just really excited for Ron to be in that situation, and I root for him a bunch.
It couldn't happen to a better person. I mean,
sure.
Ron's one of those fanatics that, he just loves basketball. And to his opponents, he may seem like he's quiet and just goes about his business. But if you get to know him and then know him like I know him, I mean, he runs his mouth way too much. He is definitely a trash talker, and he's a funny guy. And like I said, I couldn't be more proud of him and his accomplishments of his son.
Awesome. Who was the biggest trash talker on your team when you played, Greg?
On my team?
Yeah, on the Hoosiers.
Oh.
My money would be on Meeks.
I would say Meeks sometimes, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want controversy and yapping and all that kind of stuff, you're sitting next to the man that was pretty good at it.
I kind of figured that name might come up.
And that would go well before the IU days. I mean, in high school, he was the same way. Ty had a brass and a cockiness about himself that, and being teammates with him, you love it, but playing against him, you hate it.
Yeah, it's funny to think about. Like, I love telling the stories because I hated you in high school. I mean. I didn't know you from Adam. I didn't know you at all, but I hated you just because I wanted to win that bad. And I know you hated me. I mean, it's funny once we got, when we talked about, when they, I was dealing with IU and they were talking about rooming with people and they're like, well, you and Greg Graham would match up great. I'm like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden now I have to like this person. And then I remember the first time I ever picked you up and I was just like, this is the easiest transition I've ever seen.
It's weird how that recruiting happens, doesn't it?
It really changes your perspective on things and in a heartbeat, and going from being, rivals playing against each other in the same city versus, my gosh, I hate to change the subject, but you can really shed some light on something for me. Jim is from the southern Indiana.
Oh, my God, here we go.
And he's from Floyd Knobs area. Where
I went
Pat
to Floyd Central.
Went.
Oh, my God, here we go with this Central.
And so he and I have had this debate, Greg, for years and years.
Again.
Over, I always say, and Damon Bailey was an awesome player. He was a great player. But there is no way in the world he would have scored as many points as he scored in high school if he played in a school in Indianapolis. Would you care to comment on that?
Oh, here we go.
I would totally. I mean, I love Damon as well. He was a fantastic teammate and all that. But in high school, everybody had that. And if you were a high school basketball player, you always compared yourself. And you're like, well, I'm better than that kid. He only scored that many points because he was playing in Southern Indiana. If he was playing in Indianapolis, he wouldn't score that many points because there's just as many talented kids up here. And he would have to face that talent and defensive assignments from all kinds of kids that were up there that just wanted a piece of Damon. I mean,
he wouldn't score 15 points on Ron Bayless. He wouldn't score 15 points on Ron Bayless.
He wouldn't have 30, 40-point games against Ron.
So let's play it on the flip side, Greg. How many points would Greg Graham have for Warren Central against Oolitic or Mitchell?
Oh, Jesus. I'd have
Yeah,
field day.
exactly. That's my point.
I'd have field day.
Okay.
And that's not to take away from players in Southern Indiana or
It's
teams of
not
that
at
nature,
all.
but, you know, playing against talented players every single game in Marion County, I mean, it was a gauntlet. I mean, it usually the best team out of Marion County, it usually probably ends up winning the state championship as Todd can contest to that. I mean, when you have a good team like that, I mean, you're going to win a state championship.
Here's the fun part, Greg, is he could tell me I'm full of crap all the time because I do the show with him every day. He can't tell you as a guest that you're full of crap, so that's why I wanted to hear it out of your mouth.
Hey, I'm a student of the game. I recognize real, and I would definitely comment on it. I mean, I would definitely tell you the truth about it.
That's my brother.
Indianapolis guys, man. You Indianapolis guys. Hey, not too long ago, Greg, of course, Coach Knight came back to Assembly Hall. It was a big moment. People that could be there were there, but it was a huge moment. I'm sure you got to see that, replays of that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, actually, when I got the call to come back, I mean, I was highly disappointed that, you know, I missed that opportunity. And it's only because I was in season and playing at the time. I wanted to be there, but I would definitely watched it and shared it with family and friends who also got a tearful that day. I mean, it was a long waited occasion that obviously people wanted to happen. I know there were some advocates. I mean, Todd definitely advocated for it.
Yep.
It finally happened, and we're just glad to see that happen. We're glad to have Coach Knight back in Bloomington, and that was just a joyous occasion, especially on at that particular day against that particular opponent.
Yeah, it was amazing seeing the people that were able to get back and the embrace. And you could tell he got emotional out there.
Yep.
I mean, Todd obviously was out there next to him during this. So I'm saying this from a distance, but you could see, even as far away as I was, you could see the emotion in him, Todd. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Coach is, Greg, I don't know if you've talked to him or seen him in the last 6 or 8 months, but he's declined fairly rapidly in that period of time.
Yeah.
And, I saw him in November, and the difference even between him in November and that, that game in February was pretty dramatic. So I'm glad at this particular time that it got to happen and took place. And, it's kind of interesting because he moved back to Bloomington for the opportunity to be able to, what do you see? We see all the time here, somebody posting something about seeing him out eating and all these kinds of things. And now we have the restaurant and bar ban here in town. And part of the reason why he was back is kind of be around people that he knows. And now they're kind of limiting that. So it's just crazy, with him moving back to Bloomington. It's an awesome thought and experience, and I'm glad that whole thing happened. I wish you had been there. It wasn't quite the same.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys that should have been there. Nover substituted in for you, which will never be the same.
Why
Greg,
would y'all have that guy stand in for me? My goodness. I mean, of all people, Nover.
Have you talked to him recently?
No, I haven't talked to Nover in a while.
Yeah, that dude is straight up weird. Like, we thought he was weird back then, but man, he is way weirder now than he was before. And he lives here in town, so I know I'm going to have to answer to saying this here pretty soon, face to face. But I never hesitated to tell him how weird he was in person. So I'll back it up somehow. But man, he's strange.
I know you don't have to do any recruiting, Greg, but are you able to follow, or do you follow any of the, because next year is going to be an incredible year for talent in Indiana. The 2021 class has been crazy, but do you follow the high school at all, or do you just want to watch Indiana?
I have no choice but to follow high school. I mean, I'm still in touch with, pretty much my staff still back at Warren that, my assistant coach is now the girls coach. He ended up winning a state championship, I think the year after I left. And obviously our boys program won a state championship after I left. I follow it very closely. I mean, once you're part of Indiana basketball, you never leave it. You always follow and see what the teams are. The stranger thing is, 5-6 years down the road that you see teams that are competing for championships or are highly talented that when you were playing, they were non-existent. So the evolution of basketball and the talent that goes to some of these schools, in years. I mean, it definitely changes and evolves, but it's definitely one that you want to keep your eye on because some fantastic things happen in Indiana basketball.
Yeah, Todd Leary's got a senior son playing next year for Carmel. There, another Leary shooter.
Can you believe? Yeah,
Oh
can
my
you believe
God.
I have
Is
to
he a
root for
senior?
Carmel?
He's a senior?
Can you? Yeah, my youngest one is a senior. I got 2 here at IU right now.
Hey, if that doesn't tell how old you are, man, I tell you.
There's no doubt. There's no. Hey, you know what? The cool part is your birthday's 3 days after mine, so you're just barely younger than me. I know that.
Hey, but you know what? It's still 3 days.
It is.
That's right.
It is. It's an important 3 days to you. I get it.
72 hours, baby. 72 hours. Indiana on the hardwood this year, the Hoosiers are able to improve a little bit. They probably would have been in the NCAA tournament this year. Greg, the fans have been watching this struggles go forward, and it probably would have been solved this year. Didn't quite get to do that, obviously, because of what has happened with the coronavirus. But did you get a chance to watch the Indiana play, and what do you think about how their improvement that they have shown?
Well, any chance I get, obviously, I get an opportunity to watch them. And much like an alumnus, I critique and all kinds of things. I'm like, you need this, you need that, and you need to do more of this. And they did have great strides. I mean, it was a roller coaster season. I mean, you beat the top teams, but you lose to, teams that, that you should beat. I mean, and that's the part of Big Ten basketball. I mean, that's the unknown. I mean, that's what you have to look forward to because you're going to have those types of upsets and obviously those types of victories against teams that many people feel like you shouldn't have beat that you actually did beat. So it's a roller coaster. You like to see a little bit more consistency, but I think over time, I mean that will transpire. I mean, guys have to have an opportunity to play with each other for a period of time for them to achieve success. And seasons like this, when it's a roller coaster. Nobody knows better than Todd and I, and roller coaster season. I mean, from our first season down at IU, the transformation that we did from our freshman year to our sophomore year, anything's possible. But with the commitment, the recruiting, the type of players that you have in there, I mean, I see good days ahead for IU.
Absolutely. And, of course, we talked about next year recruiting class coming. Great talent in this state. And as they continue, they have a lot of Indiana kids on those rosters. So they're trying to do some roster management. How are you spending your time now through all this? You're coaching. Obviously, you can't work with your players, but also you're a father, you're a husband, so many different duties. But how are you dealing with this particular crisis that we're dealing with?
Actually, I'm going crazy because I'm kind of like self-quarantined right now because, I mean, we're off the roads here and people aren't really venturing out as much like Indiana. I mean, restaurants and bars and things are shut down and, it's a change. I mean, it's one that's, obviously going to give you cabin fever, drives you crazy, but it's a necessary evil.
One last thing before we let you go, because I know you got stuff to get to, take care of your son and whatnot. Every time we play, you cut us a promo the last time you were on, and every time we play that, Todd says that is not Greg Graham. That is Greg Graham.
It is the most boring. This is Greg Graham from Indiana University basketball. It is the most boring promo I've ever heard, and every time it plays, I say that's not Greg Graham.
So I need you to cut us another promo. You say whatever you want. This is former IU player Greg Graham, whatever, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. So
drink
now
a Red Bull or something before you do it.
What is that? What was the station again? Elizabeth Coyle and Leary.
Yeah, anything. It doesn't matter. Just whatever you want to say. It doesn't even matter because this way he'll know it's you.
Okay, I'll let him know it's me.
Appreciate it, brother.
Hey, this is Greg Graham. I'm on the. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me know when you're ready.
You anytime you go, man. We're doing this live.
Hey, this is Greg Graham, and you're listening to Indiana Hoosier Basketball with Coyle and Leary. My man, Todd Leary, 4-year roommate. It's glad to talk to you, brother, and keep doing good things.
Thanks, boss.
Greg Graham, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Have fun up there, man. We look forward to seeing you sometime, hopefully in the near future.
Hey, reach out anytime. I love talking to Indiana basketball.
You're the best. Greg Graham joining us, former Hoosier. Joining us there, former teammate of Todd Leary. We appreciate him as much as possible. We got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. We're back with it right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area, meeting friends for happy hour, watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Dr. Rod and Jill Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of 65-809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry. 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those wearing the world-famous William Tell Time, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alumni, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with C. Tucker Bloomington Realtors, 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather's arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald Times, the Golf Club Eagle Point is under ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and is open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dawkins.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
A long time ago, way back in history.
Holy hell. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Corey O'Leary. I don't know what's going on, but we've gone to the dogs, it sounds like. Wow. What in the world was that?
What was that?
Jake, what in the world was that?
That was the Clancy brothers. It's St. Patty's Day.
Okay.
Look at you. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I think I would have been more expecting to hear that one song that they played in the movie The Departed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but caught me off guard. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this St. Patrick's Day. It's Tuesday. Jim Coyle, Todd Leary with you as always. Just finished up talking to former Hoosier Greg Graham. Fun conversation with him. I talked yesterday about the person that in Floyd County that has been diagnosed with the coronavirus. They were at the Seymour sectional that week before.
Yeah.
I think that they're actually a casino worker down there.
No way.
Yeah, they've
closed all the casinos. I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw they closed all the bars and restaurants.
No, he attended Caesars Casino on several days. 4 days there, and 3 more days. So maybe he was working there. I'm not sure.
What kind of life does this guy have? He goes to high school basketball games at the casino every night.
At least maybe he's working there.
I like him.
So there's that. So there you go. But it's going to happen. But also, but let's keep things in perspective. I'm not saying this isn't serious, and I'm not. Obviously, people know I'm not a person that is that can speak from a medical standpoint on this. None of us are, and I acknowledge that. One thing I did see yesterday, though, and there in 2020, the deaths for coronavirus like 6,000 around the world. The deaths for cold flu like 60,000.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I hate to get into the debate with people because
me too. Because like I said, I'm not on the
to
medical, but I'm like, I look at those numbers and I'm like, okay. But again, I think it's more about keeping it from becoming serious by overrunning.
And for sure. And I get it. And that's why I don't want to talk, like it's not serious, but they had the first death in Indiana, and it was in Marion County. And I read the article about it, and it was just, it was so much about how, the doctor wanted everyone to understand that self-quarantining and social distancing, how important it was and all that. And I completely, I understand that. I agree with that. I mean, heck, I stayed home all day yesterday. That's not within my nature. So I'm definitely doing whatever they're saying is the right thing to do. But then he also said in the article that the person that had died from it in Marion County, had extensive other medical issues.
Right.
And I'm like, well, how about we lead with that rather than freaking everybody out first and acting like now anybody that gets it is going to die. It just is. I think it's just some poor reporting on the way that they're doing this, and they're creating I'm telling you, I said this yesterday when I was at the store on Sunday. The majority of people who were there were not over the age of 60. And so if that's the people that are the most at risk, how about close stores and only let people in that are over 60 or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't have the answers, but it just seems like there's ways we could go about talking about this that doesn't continue to stir the panic.
Yeah. Oh man, I just saw the Geronimo's did a thing. He was going to be on here tomorrow, so I may have to reschedule that. Dang on.
What happened?
Nothing.
The flying Geronimo's?
Yeah, the flying Geronimo's. 115 coaches vote on who would have won the tourney. Huh. I still think we need to have a selection show. We talked about that earlier. I mean. I know it wouldn't be real, but who cares? It's for entertainment. We need entertainment right now. Why not give the people entertainment? I can't believe that people aren't thinking of doing that. Surely to gosh, I know I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so why am I the one advocating for this right now that it be done? I sent that text to Mike DeCourcy yesterday, and he goes, yeah, that would be fun.
Well, and it goes, I think a part of it goes along with what I said yesterday, and it's not just, it's not just the people at home that I see rushing to the grocery store and whatever that I consider are panicking. I think the people from CBS and the NCAA, I think they all panicked. I think sending the committee home, I mean, they had them, sequestered.
Well, they almost didn't have a choice when it got crazy as it got, unfortunately.
Why did they not have it? Look, here's my point with saying that. Those people, it was a Wednesday afternoon, and the people on the committee were planning on being there through Sunday anyway. Why not keep them there through Sunday?
Yeah, things just got so crazy. I mean, I think that they would have just looked bad had they. But I mean, half the people would have enjoyed it and appreciated it.
You're defining panic. I'm not being a jerk. I'm just saying, I get it. Panicked and they made a decision that I think, in hindsight, looking back at it,
well, they erred on the side of caution. And there could have been some exuberance to it, but I guess that's the point. You'd rather, if you're going to err, it is better to err on that side than the other, unfortunately. But Tim hit us up on the text line. It says, do Albany Bulldogs lead 1917 all-time over Bedford? Who cares? Man.
Is that on this day? Is that
he's
one of
Mr. Bulldog.
Is Tim. That one of on these days back in whenever?
Yeah. I can't believe that's all the times that they've played. Huh. Alan says, good morning, guys. It's another great day. He woke up. He's still a Hoosier fan. He's happy down at Birdseye. So Alan bringing some ray of sunshine to us, and we appreciate it. Joker said he wasn't joking about the Derby festivities. Yeah, Derby's been postponed until September 5th, which so I have it in the fall instead of the spring. They'll still have pretty flowers out there. So
here's a way to think of that.
The people will still come.
Will it be, because the Masters, I mean, I think they're talking about doing the Masters in the same way. And so let's turn a negative into a positive. So, yeah, I'd love for it to be, less than a month from now. That would be awesome. But if they're going to move it to the fall, think of how we're going to get 2 Masters and 2 Kentucky Derbies and probably a whole bunch of other things within 6 months. Because I'm sure next year they're going to host it around the same time they normally do. So it's going to happen in September and then again in March or April. So we got that to look forward to.
Yep. Teddy Bridgewater possibly to the Chicago Bears. Tim texted in, said they will call him Teddy Bear. Oh,
did he just make all that? Up?
Either he got it somewhere or he made it up. He said it in.
Here's something that we're going to have to become accustomed to is not only are we social distancing, but so are our texters and listeners, and we're going to get some corny ass responses in from people.
Yeah, well, it's got to make it fun.
I love it.
Had another interview for you today with the Chronic Hoosier, and golly, I had to record it early and had a technical deal with it, so we're going to get that cleaned up for you for another day. But yeah, we won't have that today, unfortunately. So we'll end up just doing a shorter version is all. But yeah, I'll have that again. But man, St. Patrick's Day, that's another thing. I didn't even realize today, and I am Irish. My name's James Patrick Coyle. I'm Irish as Irish gets. I didn't even realize today was St. Patrick's Day. I've been so caught up in everything that's going on. But
I'm Todd O'Leary. You don't think I'm not Irish?
There you go. I knew some O'Learys when I was in high school.
Did you?
Absolutely. So you probably were at one point. They just took the O off.
Probably.
They forgot about it. But yeah, no St. Patrick's Day partying tonight. Which
you know what's insane, and this is where the world is in today's climate of what's going on, is I didn't realize it was St. Patrick's Day until you said it when we opened the show.
There you go. That's yeah. And plus, it's a Tuesday, so not exactly your favorite St.
I thought it was
Patrick's Day
usually
zone.
like on a Sunday, because I remember the rivers always being green, like in Chicago and Indianapolis when they're hosting the finals of the Big Ten tournament.
Well, they usually have the big St. Patrick's Day parades.
So is it on the 17th
canceled
every year? Is it on the 17th every year?
Yes,
right.
Every year, just like the Ides of March.
Now I know.
Which is on the 5th. But yeah, there every year. The Shiny Shamrock on March 17th, but not as shiny. Yeah, they canceled the St. Patrick's Day parade in Dublin, Ireland.
Whoa.
So yeah, so that's you got that going on. But in between, I mean, get out and play some basketball, man. It's getting warmer. It's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow. Hit a golf course. Go to a golf club at Eagle Point. They got great membership specials. Great membership specials. Yeah, Todd. You know what? There you go. Todd says, come out every day. He'll challenge anybody who wants to come out and play.
Sure.
He'll challenge you for a hot dog or a hot dog and a Coke. How about that?
Bring
anybody that wants to play can come out to Eagle Point, and Todd will challenge you to play for a hot dog and a Coke. How about that?
I will buy you a hot dog and a Coke just for coming out and playing. Now, we'll have to stay 6 feet away from each other. But that should not be very hard to do on a golf course.
If you ever see me play, you know that would not be difficult for me playing with anyone to stay 6 feet away from them.
Yeah, you get to parts of the golf course that we didn't even know existed. So
I need my own golf cart with a GPS on it.
Oh, I'm a walker.
Yeah, well, that's good and healthy. Now, do you have a roller for your bag?
Nope.
You carry on your shoulder?
Like to carry it, yep.
Old school.
Yep.
Look at you going, man. Up and there's some hills out there at Eagle Point.
Yeah,
not terrible. I mean, they're not terrible, but I mean, for a walker, that's a lot of walk. You walk 18?
Sure.
That's a lot. I
like it.
Man, Greg Graham was having him on the show. It was fun today. Good to see you. Get there and you guys. When's the last time you all spoke?
When he was coach at Warren, I got to see him there quite a bit. He was, there's a lot of AAU tournaments in the summertime that are played at Warren Central. They've got great facilities over there. It's kind of a neutral area, or central area. So I used to see him a bunch in the summertime when he was coaching. But I know it was a real abrupt, and he was doing great. Like they were very successful at Warren, and then all of a sudden, just abruptly, he was up and gone, and that's why I kind of threw it out on the air, asking what the story was, because a lot of people ask me, why'd Greg leave so fast? And
it's about a lady.
I didn't know.
It's about a lady. It's always about a woman. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
no comment.
Just kidding. I'm only teasing. Just teasing. Hey, man, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for us today. We appreciate everybody joining us. Appreciate Greg Graham joining us. I appreciate Chronic, even though you all didn't get to hear him. We'll get that fixed up.
Make
for
sure
you.
that Sally and Jennifer and all them, when they text in, know that you were the one who was making that. It's about a lady comment.
I will. Don't worry, I will. It was a joke, but I will still be paying the price.
Thank you.
Hey, make sure you go to Rivals, thehoosier.com, Indiana Rivals. Get yourself signed up. You can catch content there from us, but also everything that Rivals puts up there as well. That's indiana.rivals.com, thehoosier.com. So you can find all of that all the time, man. Well, we'll be back tomorrow to do it again. Thanks a lot to Greg Graham, to Jake, and to Todd. I'm Jim Coyle. Until then, I will see you on the radio.